When Women Speak and New Jersey Poetry Events presents When People Speak, Poetry and Conversation with pop-up poetry guests. All right. So I guess it's the main event.
Whew, wait a minute. I've been waiting like all week for this. The next gentleman, you know what? I heard like these rumors. Well, first of all, let me just say this. Being in other virtual venues with the next gentleman, whose name happens to be Shamello Durant, he would always come on and perform, and I would see all of his awards in the background. He's very modest. It's me talking him up now. Don't think that he said any of this. And I knew that he had something to do with the Grammys because of my other friends who are also either nominated or have won Grammys. But I had no idea. Mr. Durant, I'm going to call him King Durant at this point, has been Grammy nominated. And he's an award-winning producer. He's a songwriter. He's an author. He's a humanitarian. He has had his hand in the tapestry of hip hop for over 30 years. And I just kind of didn't know that stuff because he was so humbled in his existence when he was sharing his art that I had no idea that this was really the big it. You know, how you go through life and you meet people and it's like, can I have your autograph, Mr. Durant? Please. I purchased his book, he signed it and all of that. So I guess I do have his autograph, but I'm in awe. And you guys are about to be in awe as well. So James, what you want to add to this conversation? Because I'm going overboard with his accolades here. I was ready to like tap my head a little bit too. So James, can you just give us more of this young man's voluptuous bio?
Definitely. We're talking about Shamello Durant. Is a Grammy nominated, award-winning producer, songwriter, author, poet, and most importantly, a humanitarian who has had his hand in the tapestry of hip hop for more than 30 years, influenced by hip hop pioneers such as Grand Master Flash and Run DMC. Shamello has honed his own unique brand of hip hop expression and what he calls word acrobatics, which he has shared with audience spanning several decades. He emerged in the early 90s with the multi-platinum recording artist BBD as he wrote a large portion of their debut album, Poison. As a mentee of the Public Enemy Bomb Squad production team, he learned many invaluable musical production, songwriting techniques. These skills led to subsequent collaborations with platinum recording artists such as you heard, Busta Rhymes, Petey Pablo, Missy, Destiny's Child, and Mobb Deep, to name a few. Shamello is most noted for producing Busta Rhymes' classic hip hop opus, Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Can See. As a member of the Producers Coalition of America, Shamello has teamed up with 6 other platinum music producers to create songs for numerous classics and emerging artists and throughout the various genres. So help me at this time. Multi-talented, producer, songwriter, poet,
author, poet, humanitarian, just all around good looking guy, Shamello.
Thank you for an awesome introduction. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Glad to be here. And I'm really delighted because I'm a fan of both of y'all's work.
Thank you, Shamello. Thank you. Honored. Yeah. So we gonna step. I'm sorry, Shamello, I cut you off. What were you gonna say?
I said, as a matter of fact, I listened to a little Pulsar this morning.
Hey, Pulsar in the house. Shamello, we're gonna step off the stage and we're gonna let everybody get a taste of what you do for real.
Okay.
There you
Well, you guys talked about music and my background in music, and what I want to do is I want to take you on a trip. But I want to take you on a trip because we're in a time period and everybody's a king and everybody's a queen. So what I want to do, I'm going to take you to a place where two kings live. And this place is called Memphis. I met two kings in Memphis. I was on tour. I was crossing the USA. Now, every state was a great escape and every place was new to me. But in Memphis, there was a difference because I needed a dentist to prevent this truth decay. Because I hate watching the youth decay. So stop flossing with your chains and your jewelry and brush up on your history. See, it's no mystery that we come from a rich history. That's my story, not his story. Hip, hip, hooray. Come on, let me bring this up a little bit. Let me remix that. I meant to say hip hop, hooray, ho, hey, ho. We come a long way, but yo, we got a long way to go. Now back to this Memphis trip. First stop, Elvis's crib. I went through plantations, wastelands, and slave lands just to get to Graceland to see where Elvis used to live. Now Elvis's crib, it was a big, bodacious, spacious location, impressive, a little excessive, extravagant, yeah, a little arrogant, a lavish establishment. It was like a labyrinth, and not just some average shit. I mean, I'm talking about private planes and horse stables, full-length minks, and of course sables, custom walls, floors, doors, and tables. And it still was hard for the king to sometimes remain stable, even after all the world tours and all the hit songs on all the record labels. Elvis, Aaron Presley had jams, cash, pizzazz, and a splash of swagger. His sound was infused with gospel, country, rhythm, and blues musician / actor / swagger / jacker whose sound and whose swagger was influenced by the browner and the blacker, and there's actual facts and data that'll back that up. But I admit, I had a good time in there. Actually, I even bought a souvenir. Not just to prove that I was there, but because I want to learn the mystery behind the history of this music that we hear. Yeah. Now here's my souvenir. Because you see this Elvis coffee mug? It's a great way to keep your oatmeal hot. But honestly, I can't wake up every morning sipping tea from that Elvis coffee pot. But I admit, I did cop that Elvis alarm clock, and it goes tick, tock, tick, tock. Now here's what I hear every morning about 4:45 before I even open my eyes. Wake up, you little hound dog, crying all the time. Wake up, you little... Then I woke up. Ring. I actually thought that was a dream. But I ended up on the other side of Memphis at the Civil Rights Museum. Here's where I decided to vibe on a little Luther. So amazing, and I've been waiting. But not Luther Vandross. I meant Martin Luther King. See, I had to get my mind off that bling bling that I saw the day before. After the Graceland Mansion, my mind needed some expansion. And my mind, body, and soul needed just a little bit more, a few more answers. So the ancestors might immediately need to be called. And I could feel the healing in their essence as their presence started leading me on. And if I know one thing about one thing, a museum is a place where the past, the present, and the future intersect, connect, and convene to communicate to the human race about where we've been, where we are, and what we're expecting to face. So down in a place called Memphis on the other side of town, I was delighted to see that the Lorraine Motel, now known as the Civil Rights Museum, was standing strong and still standing its ground. Now, for those of you who don't know or didn't know, this is where the king was killed. But not the king of rock and roll, but the king that rocked your soul. For real. So the Lorraine Motel has been converted to a museum as a tribute to commemorate the civil rights that were fought for us. It was a shot heard around the world. Dr. King murdered on the balcony. What a big loss for us. I mean, for all of us. Because he taught us, fight for our rights, fight for justice. And the museum was designed with the thought in mind to ignite some enlightening questions, suggestions, discussions, sometimes even instructions. Because here I learned about slavery and bravery and groups like the Black Panthers who never took no for an answer. I also learned about the men, women, and girls and boys who got to boycott for peace of mind. And I learned that they'd rather stand against the wicked than stand in a damn bus ticket line. I also learned about the Underground Railroad. That's when I realized that I'm alive, because some way, somehow, someone in my tribe survived the wild ride on an overcrowded, oversized sailboat. I don't think y'all hear me though. I'm gonna say that again. I learned about the Underground Railroad. And he's when I realized that I'm alive, because some way, somehow, someone in my tribe survived the wild ride on an overcrowded, oversized sailboat. So we party for our right to fight, and we fight for our right to party because we're godly. And oddly enough, we're coming back smarter and tougher, harder and rougher. And we know that we can't take this much longer because we know what it's like to suffer. So I urge you. Better yet, it's an emergency. Learn your history with an urgency. Move expeditiously and urgently. My people are fractured and in need of surgery. And this burns me to the third degree. And I don't even care if you've never heard of me, because what I have, honestly, I give freely and discreetly. Ask anybody who knows me. Please believe me. Two kings who influenced a nation of millions. One made millions, and one made millions of building blocks for our next generation of children. And yes, I learned a lot from them both. One, truth consumes my brain. Two, music flows through my veins and arteries. It's all a part of me. So part of me is just the God in me, folks. So hip hop, pray for me. And I'm going to pray for you too. Travel safely. Keep those demons away from me and make it to your destination safely too. Spreading love, that's what I came to do. I aim to uplift your view, because you are kings and queens too. Remember to dream, but continue to sing your truth, because I have things to dream too. So stay woke. And oh, just in case you didn't know, Chuck Berry's actually the father of rock and roll. Now, what we talked about just now was two kings in a cipher. And if you didn't know, now you know. Now that's a TKO. Shamello Durant.
Viewers down as well. You gave a whole dang on history lesson in the form of poetry, hip hop, spoken word, Grammy nominated, all of that stuff in that piece. I don't even know if it was one piece, if it was a continuous talk. I was just like so into it. Like, Shamello, dang,
Thank
that
you.
was a lesson. Thank you. Thank you. So
Memphis
Jane.
was quite a lesson. It was a very interesting trip. I was on the road a couple of years ago on a TV show. I work in film and television as a day job, and I was on the road for about a month. And every place where I went, I was absorbing new things. And the guy, we had to drive, so I had a partner I was driving with, and we, outside of not just the sites and historical monuments, but nature in America is amazing and awesome. And being a city slicker, I don't get a chance to see those things often. So being on that road taught me a lot mentally, spiritually, and physically.
Yeah. I think that part of the things that you've gone through in your life, your music, your being a part of the industry, is all woven into your artistry and your words. Each time I hear you speak, it's a total lesson. It's a total lesson, and it's seamless. It's like I'm in a conversation with you, and before I know it, I've been schooled. Totally. Well, dang, was we just talking, or was I in the class? What the heck happened here? But it's seamless and it's painless. Like we just leave with our mouths open and our hearts warmed and our brains like spiked, because you keep dropping those jewels. Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me. You said something earlier, Amira. You said that every poet has a different voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I work hard to make sure that I have a unique fingerprint, not just in poetry, but any entertainment endeavor that I'm in. I try to make sure that there's a specific fingerprint, because these pieces of work are going to last, hopefully forever.
That's what's up. That's what's up. It's strange that you should say that. I had this conversation with my children just like 2 days ago, and I was like, just kind of down a little bit in spirit. I was just telling them, like in 2 generations, people will not know who I am. The things that will allow them to remember me are my written works, those things that I taught other people, and the impression that I made on those that I touch as I travel through this life. So if you're not doing amazing things, and amazing is a part of perspective. Let me just say that. You should just do the best possible job that you can do in
Yes.
everything. And the fingerprint for us as artists is we don't have to emulate anybody. We don't. We should all have a different voice because we all have a different voice. We're individuals, and I have to sometimes sit back and think about that myself and not get a little down because I don't think that I sound like anybody, and I'm not trying to. And there's a place for us all. That's how
And,
I.
and also to add to that, and I co-sign everything you said, but we are also in tandem with that. We also pieces of our influence.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that I do, even though I make my own fingerprint, it's because my DNA has been passed down from those people before me, my ancestors in hip hop, my ancestors in my cultural ancestors, and ancestors in wisdom. Those people who taught me different tidbits of information that showed me where to leave the breadcrumbs at. Because that's what you just said. We have to leave our breadcrumbs so that people know here.
I think that's why our job as poets is so important because we are the griots. So if like history was passed down through the voice, through the storytelling, through the kids sitting around the feet of their grandma and grandpas, and the stories were told to the children, and the children told it to their children. This is the beginnings of spoken word. So we can't drop that flame. We have to keep that flicker going. We have to keep our voices active, and we have to remain positive and concerned in order to bring that from the heart to the mouth and out into the world via our voices. And you, sir, are doing that. And I appreciate you.
And I greatly appreciate that. Thank you kindly. Thank you kindly. And prayerfully, we will continue.
Thank you. So, James, you have a surprise for Shamello, don't you?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I have a surprise for Shamello, and I'm going to bring him up. This gentleman right here, real as promised, is, when I say one of Newark's, top lyricists. This brother is ill when it comes to the words.
I'm smiling. I love that.
I'm bringing him on because he has something that he wants to say to you personally.
Okay.
In regards to what your influence in hip hop has done for him. So go ahead, brother. Real as promised.
Salute to you, sir.
Yeah, salute to you. Can y'all hear me good?
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because I'm actually I'm in the Meadowlands right now. I'm actually doing what I call Clark Kent work. Okay. So yeah, that's what I call it. Yeah, so Busta Rhymes, put your hands where my eyes can see. I was 14 years old, and I was freshman in high school, and I was that kid that slept by the radio. I slept next to the radio. So when that first bass line hit, I almost threw up in my stomach. Like threw up, like my soul threw up because I was 3 years in, and Busta Rhymes was he was one of my biggest influences. He showed you how to lean on the beat. And like it's a whole bunch of technical things that he made me a master today of. So when that record came on, I seen Busta Rhymes have a level of fun that I've never ever heard him have a day in my life. So when I tell you, my good brother, to meet the man behind that masterpiece, it's a different level of humble in this moment. You a bad man. You a bad man.
Yes.
Agreed. Bad man. You understand me? To this day, I get goosebumps when it dropped. To this day. But that's what you call a timeless creator. A timeless creator. And you are exactly that. So as I'm sitting here and I'm listening to this piece, I'm like, oh, he dangerous. You're dangerous, bro. Dangerous. Like they need to be worried about you. We need to have therapy. You want to talk about it? Hey man, listen, brother. I genuinely appreciate it. I was listening. I was on the highway as soon as I said, man, I got to pull this thing over, man. I got to sit and I got to focus, cause man, oh man, it's kid in the candy store. Like I'm humble, brother.
Real as promised, man. I greatly appreciate that, man. And it's funny because we have a similar story, because I too, except it was 20, 30 years ago, I sat with my ear to the radio as well, you know, and that's what really, and I know exactly what that feels like. So I have empathy and understanding with where you are on that particular time when you heard those songs, because that's what happened to me when I first heard hip hop. It was the same thing, you know. So we're the same person. We have the same spirit, you know, especially coming from with that hip hop background. You know, you just happen to receive that information later than me. But, you know, I was fortunate enough to be in the classroom sitting next to Busta Rhymes, you know, not in he's a little younger than me, but in the actual hip hop classroom, we learned these mechanics together. We learned from some craftsmen and some masterful people, you know, and if you paid attention to any of those things that you watched him do or seen him create, I'd love to hear what you do.
Let me tell you something. Like a book. Wait, what happened? Well, what's the thumb? No, this has to happen.
Did you just hear what he just said?
Wait, I got it like right now.
Right now. Hit him with a couple of bars, brother.
All right, you need 8 or you need 16? Let me know, because
I need whatever you feel comfortable displaying.
Okay. Oh man, this is Kid in the Candy Sheet, y'all. Hey, first off, I want to say thank y'all for the moment. I genuinely appreciate y'all. Amira, you're doing amazing things.
Thank you.
You already know that album is coming soon next month. Alumni and James is on. You know how we do, brother. So I genuinely appreciate it. All right, let me go ahead.
Let's go. I want to hear it.
All right, let me go. Yeah, I'm gonna give him 16 off that. All right, check. What I'm dropping, that kind of question is a tour guide. I prefer my album before I prefer pride. My thoughts on my map, so I'm guessing I'm worldwide. Just working on a nuclear weapon to tear the world wide open. It ain't the ego within me. Positivity is free, but yet evil is trendy, because evil got the biggest piece of my city. I can't wear Jesus' peace until Jesus brings some peace to my city. Ooh. See, all is relief. These thorns sit on my crown, because all I see is police, black boys stiff on the ground. A journey through my words, that boy's getting around. My maneuvers, no manure, no horse shitting around. Staying consistent with an eye on my gifts, steady staring at a bar that I've been dying to lift. You see, under freedom of speech, we rely on the fifth. It's a game of musical chairs, but I ain't trying to sit. I'd rather stand, because that's how I progress me. In the belly of a beast that cannot digest me. I'm related to doing too much, so I sound familiar. I searched through my gray area and I found some silver. It's the jaws of great that's devouring me, but I care less if I appeal to the powers that be. All that Illuminati talk, I ignore, fam. And I only talk about Mason because I'm a Hornets fan. Man, I could have kept going. I ain't want to be greedy. Listen, okay. Yeah, man.
Real nice job. Respect. And we will talk.
Absolutely, man. It's been an honor. I'll still be watching. I'll still be tuning in. Hey, man, keep making that magic happen, brother. I'm rooting for you, man.
Yes.
Thank you. And your commentary was heartfelt for me too. I appreciate that, man. I don't take those things lightly, and I greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, once again, it's an honor and privilege, man. Thank you. I love y'all. I'll be tuning in. Salute.
I watch out for Jordan Jameson, man.
Yes. Well, I'll be in the comment section talking my junk, so I ain't going nowhere.
Thank you. That was awesome. Wow. Off the cuff, right on stage, from the car to the stage. And he was just here to salute Shamello, and he just brought that.
I love it. And I have to be honest with you. You know, this is what I do for. It's for a next generation.
Yes.
You know, I've had a chance to enjoy some fruits of my labor, of giving most of it away. But watching a next generation actually receiving information from us and utilizing it in a way and making it their own. You know, that's what I'm here for, and that's what it's really about. You know, and
Absolutely.
I appreciated his input.
Definitely, definitely.
So, we got any more surprises?